We get a ton of questions all the time. We're looking for something that has a basement that we can rent. We're looking for something that we can rent the main floor on. We're looking for an investment property that we can rent out. Sometimes it's not great to be a landlord. Most times it is, because if you can make it work and the investment that comes in is worth it and you feel like you can do the duties that are required of a landlord, then it's great. It's not a bad idea. But there are a lot of responsibilities that you have to look into. You have to make sure that you're following the Landlord-Tenant Act, which is a huge one. You have to be maybe comfortable with not making as much money as you think that you might be making for the first year or two. You also have to take into consideration that you still have to do upkeep on this house. So now you've got 2 places, maybe even 3 or 4, that you have to do upkeep on. You got to make sure that the driveways are shoveled. You got to make sure that the landscaping is done. You got to make sure that you're doing general repairs. If there's been a big windstorm, you got to inspect the roof and everything like that. And you also have to be aware that you can't just be popping in there whenever you want to check up on the tenants. You have to issue proper notice. There are obligations that are involved in there. Before you think about should I be a landlord, look into it a little bit. Look into what the obligations of a landlord are, what the obligations of a tenant are, and see if that's right for you. You know, we all hear good stories in the news. Sometimes we hear the really bad stories in the news. So you take the good with the bad, and if you have questions, talk to us, because we have some experience with this, with looking at rental properties, and with what being a landlord is like. We can give you options for how you want to manage those properties, if you want to be hands-on or hands-off, and what some of your obligations should be. So contact us.